As a pastor, I've conducted many funerals over the years. Funerals are always difficult. Some of them are more difficult than others. I did a funeral once for a young woman who died of breast cancer before her 30th birthday. I've conducted a funeral for a young man who died by suicide. Um, I've done funerals for people who've lived very long and full lives, and when it comes time to gather together for their final service, the sanctuary is packed out with people. And I've done a funeral once for a woman who is a missionary to a faraway country. And the effects of her work and the life that she lived were really known only to God, because when the funeral came, there were only a small handful of people here because most of the people she impacted lived overseas. Every funeral is a little bit different, but funerals all are, of course, occasions for grief. Most of us have stood at the grave of a loved one. You've probably been at a funeral service. You've probably had to stand by the grave as the casket was lowered into the ground. And you know firsthand the pain that that brings and the sense of finality that carries with it. No matter how often we may do it, funerals feel and death feels so permanent. But the Catechism reminds us here in this Lord's Day that focuses on the benefits and the blessings of Christ's resurrection. The Catechism tells us that for us, for those who are in Christ, death is not the end. The Catechism lists three benefits of the resurrection of Jesus. The first being that our debt to sin has been paid in full. The second benefit is that the new life in Christ begins today, but it's that third benefit that gives us so much hope, especially when we have to stand at the graveside. The third, the third benefit tells us that what happened to Jesus will happen to us. In other words, the resurrection of Jesus, the victory that Jesus wins over the grave, is a guarantee that we too will be resurrected just like him. We too will have new and resurrected and perfected bodies. Heaven is not about floating around with harps and halos. It's not about being spirits in some ethereal world, but it's about a real world made new because of the resurrection of Jesus. You are free from the shackles of death, and that good news means that we too will live for eternity.